I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Alissa Daire Nelson. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Oh man, what an amazing night. I don't often record this late in the evening, and so it feels like I don't know, like a special night out.
Well, I love that. I love that. Well, it's a good pleasure to have you. Tell us, what parts of the world are you in right now?
I am in the heartland of the US, in Minnesota.
Sweet. And which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
So I heard about you several months ago through a friend of mine. I was like, oh, that sounds like such a neat idea. I should reach out. And I never did. Now, you actually messaged me on LinkedIn, and that's how we connected. And I immediately, I'm not super active on LinkedIn, but I immediately messaged you back, and I was like, yes, we need to make this happen. So I knew about you from that. And so when I got that message, I was like, I'm all over this.
Love it. Nothing happens before it's time, right?
That's right. That's right.
So tell us about your podcast and what you do, please.
Yeah, so I have a podcast called Maximize Your Strengths, which is based on the application of the StrengthsFinder 2.0 profile. But we do even more on the podcast than that. We really look to leverage all of your strengths, and your strengths aren't just your StrengthsFinder themes. They're all of the things that make you, your life experiences and your education and your values and all of those things. So we really get to dive into entrepreneurs' greatest strengths and get to showcase for the world just how amazing they are.
I'm intrigued to know, what are your top 5 strengths?
Ooh, my top 5. I have Futuristic at number 1. WOO, which is an acronym. It's the only acronym in all 34. Stands for Winning Others Over. So I get to connect with people very quickly, which is awesome. Positivity. So my glass isn't just half full. It's all the way full. It just might be somewhat full of air. That's all. And then Activator, which means I love to get going and get out of the gate, as it were. And then number 5 is strategic. So I have the ability to make really good decisions on if A or B and C or D. And so those are sort of my special superpowers.
That's amazing. So who did you learn those from?
I found the StrengthsFinder profile about 3 years ago, and just through a networking group that I was actually a part of. I was on the leadership of that, and they handed me this book, and I was like, okay, I'll take this, and took the profile. And it was one of the first times in my adult life where I saw in black and white all of the things that were right with me. And I had always been focused on fixing all the things that were wrong with me, of which, of course, I could find lots and lots of things wrong with me. And this was the first time that I was able to flip that script and go, oh my gosh, these are all the things that are right with me. And so I fell in love with it and went through a 30-week-long certification process to really understand it at a really, really deep level so I could help other people with that transformation.
It's definitely something that is sacrificial, right? Doing something so that others can benefit. Why will you continue to repeat that skill of doing that?
I think we're really at a crisis level of people really playing to their weaknesses. We talk a lot about playing to our strengths, but people don't necessarily know how to apply that, how to do it in real life. And, when we leverage our strengths, it's really where the magic happens, not only for business, but for personal life. I truly believe the application and leveraging of our strengths can save marriages. It can empower children, and so that we're raising amazing adults, not just good kids who can't function as adults. I think it can change the paradigm, politically across the globe. And I know that sounds super pie in the sky, but when we see the good in others and honor that and cherish that and seek that out, it changes all of the conversations we have.
It does. It definitely does. But tell me one other thing, Alissa, you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Get up. I've gotten up.
So important.
I've been an entrepreneur, and of course, entrepreneurship is about failing forward to success. And there have been times where I've been bawling my eyes out and going, "Oh, why is this not working?" Or banging my head up against a wall. And had mentors and coaches say, "Alissa, please don't quit. Please don't quit." And I'm like, "That's the thing. I can't quit. I'm compelled to continue to move forward." So I'm not even consistent with the order of brushing my teeth versus flossing my teeth. I sometimes change that up on a daily basis, but consistently, I get my booty back up after I've scuffed my knees.
Love it. Have you written anything? I mean, you sound like an amazing author. Like, I would love to read your book. Like, have you written anything?
I did actually. I published a book last March, so just a few months ago now, and it's called From Frustrated to Frickin Awesome:
Oh, super.
4 Steps for Achieving the Success You're Wired For. And in large part, that was kind of like, here's my life. Here's how I was super frustrated, and how I can now stand up and say, "Gosh, I'm really freaking awesome, and you are too." Right. And so, yeah, so that's my very first book. I know that there's more books in me, but that's the one on the market right now.
Wow. Wow. It's fascinating. Let me just check this quickly on Amazon. Interesting. So you chose to sit in a meditative pose, right?
Yeah.
Was that purposeful?
The reason for sitting like that, and kind of with my chin on my hands there, is 2 parts. Number one is I wasn't willing to sort of get up and be seen previously before I really embraced how awesome I am. And what I mean by that is not that I'm the best, right? Is that because I'm me, just because I'm me, I am freaking awesome. So I was willing, to be seen. And number 2, it's really that welcoming sort of stance. Like, hey, we're on the same level here. I'm not above you. You're not above me. But gosh, we're both amazing. And so that stance was chosen to really welcome people into the book and to help them embrace their own amazingness.
Love it. How does it make you feel doing what you're doing? How does it make you feel?
Oh, man. Some days I am, still frustrated, right? That my message isn't getting up fast enough, right? That's part of that activator in me that just wants to get going and get this message out to the masses as fast as humanly possible. And so I don't tend to be super patient. So there's that feeling, and then there's this feeling of immense fulfillment that it literally brings me to tears at times. And today being one of those days, I was just a little choked up after a couple of conversations I had yesterday and today. Just like, wow, this is really impactful. This is making a difference. And you know what? One person at a time is okay too.
Love it. Alissa, this is a great pleasure. Amazing audience. We are live with Alissa Daire Nelson. Check out her podcast, Maximize Your Strengths. Alissa, let's switch gears for a moment and let me now invite you into my time machine. I was surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Alissa, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory was actually sneaking out the top of, we had 2 entrances to our house. We lived on a hill. So we had sort of an upstairs entrance and then a main floor entrance kind of halfway down the hill. And I snuck out the top and I walked 2.5 miles to preschool when I was 4 years old. Wow. And the reason was that the car broke down and my mom couldn't take me. But darn it, if I didn't want to go to school. So I went anyway. Wow. So the memory I have is actually crossing a busy street and then walking in the front door. And I think part of the reason that is such a clear memory to me is, number one, it really solidified for my parents, God bless them, that of the personality and the determination they had on their hands in their 6th child. Like, wow. Oh goodness, And the other reason I think is just because we've told the story in our family so many times that it's just such a solid
wow.
memory for me.
That's amazing. Wow. Wow. What can I offer interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
100%. Yes, I would love that.
I love how on the top 5 StrengthsFinder, you're futuristic. Mm-hmm. And most definitely that walk you made represented your future and the walk you continue to make to this day. Like, you need to walk, right? You said your thing is you get up.
That's right.
You get up. And yes, while getting up is a major part of what you do. Getting up and walking is so important to the thing you were created to do.
That's right.
And that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a little scary, and walking across that street when you're not quite sure, what's coming at you is a little scary, but man, is it worth it. Wow. That was really powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
You are amazing. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Oh my goodness. Paula Abdul was the best. And I actually have two of her songs that are my absolute favorite. One was Straight Up, if you remember that song. And the other one was Opposites Attract. And I don't know how old you are, Angel, but there was her music video was with a cartoon cat. And I remember this video so vividly. And what a great album that was.
Yeah. Well, I love to connect the names of the songs just to have fun, to be honest. But, it's the way you walked, straight up, like you just walked.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Well, Alissa, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Alissa, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
My children.
Are you married?
I am, for the second and final time.
You're the second person who said that tonight. Wow. Do you believe in God?
I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Absolutely not.
How about 3 hours a week?
I don't think so, no.
What about screen time? Is it 8? More than 8?
Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's screen time, right? So I sit at my computer a lot. That's how I meet all of my clients, is on video conference. So I am at my computer maybe I would say 6 to 8 hours a day.
All right. Well, Alissa, after having those 1001 conversations in 2016 in 3 months, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is yours. It really goes deep, right? So it stands for your own unique real self, but connected to that is your own unique real statement, your mission. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, something that represents Alissa Daire Nelson, what would that be?
I am frickin' awesome, and you are too.
There it is, folks. It's who she is. Alissa, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just say, own who you are. All of the parts that you think might be ugly and all of the parts that you think might be beautiful, because they're all beautiful. And, one of my favorite Tony Robbins quotes is, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So despite the difficulties and the challenges that you're going through right now, good can come from it, and you can choose to make it something that serves you and that serves others. So own it and embrace it.
Love it. Alissa Daire Nelson, thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.